guest has 2 NCAA football championships, a Heisman Trophy, and now a book. His best-selling memoir is called Through My Eyes from the Denver Broncos. Please welcome Tim Tebow. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
How do you get so muscular? Be honest. Do you work out?
P90X, to be honest with you.
That's what does it for
No,
you?
not really.
Well, it's good to see you. And by the way, this is pretty, I mean, it's impressive to write a book, especially at your age. But the coolest thing is you got a blurb on the back of your book from Chuck Norris.
Yes.
And that's pretty solid.
He also taught me the roundhouse kick, too.
He did.
No.
That would be pretty dangerous if he did. How do you get Chuck Norris to write a blurb for the book?
Well, he actually, right after I won the Heisman Trophy my sophomore year, someone came and walked up and they handed me a letter that he had just gave him to give to me. And it was a super nice letter, and it was just encouraging me and just keeping up what I was doing and everything. And ever since then, we've had a relationship, and it's been pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I also read in the book you talk about Rocky IV, right?
Yes.
Rocky IV somehow inspired your training?
Well, you know, as a boy, I mean, I was a huge Rocky fan, especially Rocky IV when he destroys Ivan Drago. I mean, that was pretty awesome. But, you know, I loved his training regimen and the music that went with it. And, you know, he's running up the mountain, he's screaming out, Drago, and he's doing all that. So, you know, I lived on a farm, and so I would go out and I'd cut down, you know, a big log, and I'd put it over my back like him, and I'd do the lunges. And then we had a barn, and so I'd hang, you know, upside down and try to do the abs like he did. And, you know, it was something that was
Chickens?
fun.
Were you chasing chickens?
We actually had chickens.
You did chase the chickens.
And I caught a lot of chickens, so that greasy lightning speed.
That's how you get it. That's pretty great. Have you met Sylvester Stallone?
I have not.
You got to get him to do a blurb on the next book.
Yeah, I know. In 23 more years.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, really, like he's inspired. Actually, like he's inspired a real, actual athletic achievement. I mean, that's pretty cool.
It is.
Do you think there's going to be a season this year?
I do.
You do. Okay, good. You feel positive about it.
I'm feeling very confident. You know, I think they're, you know, working on it and getting closer. And hopefully, the beginning of July, we'll be able to work something. And
are you involved? Like, do you go to meetings or do you talk to anything like that?
No, not at all. No. Absolutely not.
Okay.
But you know, I am listening pretty.
You're listening.
Closely,
you're hoping because you got to win that starting quarterback job, and it's hard to do it
about competing
when you're not playing.
It is.
And plus, you know, well, this I think a lot of people have seen this photograph. This is your rookie hazing, and that's a pretty serious hazing you got.
That was rough.
Did you go along with this, or were you shot with a tranquilizer dart, or how did this happen?
No, I actually went along with it. You know, they said, listen, you have a choice. You know, either we're going to do something to your hair, or we're shaving everything on your face, eyebrows, everything. And so, you know, a lot of the rookies, they're like, no, you're not shaving me, you know? And they would run and literally, you know, 15 of veterans tackle you, bring you in the bathroom, and they're doing what they want. And
that's no good.
No good. Yeah. So, you know, I walked in there and sat down and said,
you did the right thing.
Give me your best. And they gave me the Friar Tuck, but
they sure did.
I rocked it for a few days.
Yeah, it's not a great look. It looks like
it's not a great look, but
if Donald Trump didn't have a hot comb, this is what he would. This is what his hair would look like. Right?
The worst part about that, too, is they did it the day we had our first scrimmage. So my first appearance ever at Mile High in front of the Orange Crush, first appearance, that was my haircut.
Well, you made an impression. Now, well, this is pretty cool. You got your own, there's a statue of you at University of Florida, which is, do you get to choose your pose? Are you involved in that?
I did not choose it.
You did not choose it?
No.
But it's a good one. They got you running there.
They do. Well, they had Spurrier throwing and Werfel throwing, and so they had to change it up with me and do something different.
And have you, and that's got to be, I mean, how did you decide to go to Florida in the first place?
Well, it was actually a tough decision. You know, a lot of people think that I was going to go to Florida my whole life, but, you know, I really was leaning towards Alabama for most of my high school career. And then this guy named Urban Meyer got hired at Florida, and so I was like, you know, there's something intriguing about him, and he worked harder than any other coach to recruit me. And so, you know, on the day when I was committing and telling the world where I was going, I had on my paper, next year I'll be playing for the University of blank. And I was decided between Florida and Alabama, and I honestly didn't know the whole day. And And so I was talking to my dad, and he was like, well, what's the one person you want to play for? So I was just thinking, and I was like, Coach Meyer probably. I love Coach Shula, but probably Coach Meyer. And he was like, well, there you go. And so I called.
So it came down to a Mad Lib, essentially.
And then pretty much. And then I called Coach Shula, and I was really close with him, so I was getting emotional. I was like, hey, Coach Shula, I'm really sorry, but I think I'm going to go to Florida. And he was like, well, just calm down. He said, that's okay. He said, I love you just as much now as if you went to Alabama. You're going to have a great career, and hopefully I'll coach you one day. So I hang up the phone with him, and I look at my dad, and I'm like, that's the coach I want to play for. And so he almost swayed me back to Alabama.
Right. He's no dummy.
No, he's no dummy.
But I bet Coach Meyer was quite happy when you phoned him.
He was, and then I called him, and I was getting ready to tell him that I was coming to Florida, and I was like, "Hey, Coach," and he couldn't tell what I was doing because I was wiping off tears. I just got off with Shula, and he was like, "Hey, how you doing? How's everything going?" I was like, "It's good," and I was like, "Hey, Coach," he's like, "What?" And I'm getting ready to tell him I'm coming to Florida, and his phone goes dead. And so, he's very intense. And so as he tells it, he's driving in a car because he's, a little ADD, and he didn't want to sit there. And so he's punching on his dashboard, and he's all upset. And so he goes home, gets his son, and he can't watch it on TV. So he grabs him, pulls him outside. He's throwing balls outside, and he hears his family cheer. And so that's how he found out I was coming to Florida.
That's how he found out?
Yes.
Wow. Well, he needs to switch service. That's no good at all. Well, I hope you guys play next year. I wish you luck. I love to see you start. I know the fans would love to see you starting in Denver, and and then you got to go out there and do it. But it's great to meet you. You seem like a great guy. And good luck to you. Tim Tebow, everybody. This is his autobiography. It's called Through My Eyes. It's in bookstores now. I'll be right back with music.